Hello people, this is Ryder here to review the Avataro Sentai Donbrothers DX Ninjark Sword. So this is the second premium roleplay item from Donbrothers. I didn't pick up the Noto brace just because I feel like it's a thing. I didn't feel like pre-ordering it right away, and I think Zraken actually wants it. So. But obviously, this thing, however, it's a roleplay item, and it's a Dawn brother. We get the main transformation device of Don Murasame, a sentient being. That's short motif ninja. Donbrothers. So obviously, as you can see from here, the Ninjark Sword is a retooling of the Zangwa Sword. I think the boxes, I want to say the box here is a lot bigger because it's a plastic insert now for some reason, but I do really like the design of the package overall and such. We got Don Murasame on the left, the Ninjark Sword, and then we have like all of this technical glitches. I really like how the tech inside the text is supposed to, like, I want to say it's supposed to be more like the tube that Don Murasame was in, but it's more like squares and such. Just the design of this is really nice overall, especially with the top with the Ninjark Sword like fading, going in glitch mode. Sorry. Here's another picture. Really like the Ninjark Sword and the stone. Even though I'm pretty sure that's clearly photoshopped. All the information. Sorry about that. Here's the left or right with the avatar changes of Don Murasame. The only one he's only done at this recording is Abare Killer. He has never done Stay Caesar. And then on the left, we have the altar change, which shows off the same art piece from the Change Heroes. And the back is hilarious, as everything wants to fall. Basically, you know, it's the traditional stuff of like, here's the PDF of the instructions, and this picture's the same. These are new pictures, but I think it's just because of the prop version of the Ninjark Sword that they didn't want to, like, I guess they really didn't want the prop version to be shown, because I'm pretty sure that's the only version of the Ninjark Sword that he always holds. So they did a really weird Photoshop job. It's on par with Super Megaforce Red with the American Ranger keys, but this they're not even like. I know like a bunch of people have already brought it out, which is like the Photoshop job, but this is technically the only picture with him with the actual sword. Too long, mother. Alright, so here are the contents. Obviously, it's just the Ninjark Sword itself. So, as you can see, the Ninjark Sword from here. It's a really nice recolor of the Zangwa Sword. Obviously, this one, like, doesn't need to follow the motif of the, like, Dawn Blaster. So they obviously just went with like shades of blue and such, obviously to go, I guess, to go along with the purple that Don Murasame is, which I really think works with his color scheme. And with the main base of the Ninjark Sword being like this magenta pink, It's definitely not the same. It's I want to say it's definitely a lot brighter than like Neo Deca Driver, but obviously the biggest difference is, or there's two big differences. Obviously the blade itself is an entire new piece. It's basically the same blade, but now with like these jaggeds, these triangles and such, obviously to emulate shark jaws. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Oh my gosh, that hurts. And then the second biggest thing they changed is the disc itself. As you can see now, it's no longer a Avatar gear. It's now just four sharks going in a circle. And I actually really prefer this a lot more than the Zonglass Sword. I always kind of felt the Zonglass Sword disc should have been bigger, so I'm really happy that they actually expanded it, or they enlarged it and such. And obviously we have Don Murasame's symbol there, which I really do like it overall, because it's his visor, and then the shark, and then we have the, I assume, shark teeth to obviously come together to be his headband. That's really cool. And obviously we still have this for later, trigger, and obviously this still requires 3 AAA batteries, to which hopefully do not melt any of yours. An on and off switch right there. But before we go through that, let's compare with the Zonglass Sword quickly. I also kind of really like, I just want to point this out, I really do like how they actually did swap the colors, because obviously the main base color for the Zonglass Sword was black and such, but with the Ninjark Sword, they changed it to the secondary color, which means now the black's the color that's actually painted and such. And I just really like this, like, chrome blue. Obviously, I really like whenever blue gets to be shiny, so I really just like how these two work overall. Yeah. So again, the swords are the exact same. It's just they just added shark teeth to it, which again I think helps stand it out. And again, as you can tell from here, the disc is heavily expanded. I think even just from like looking at this, because you might think the Ninjark Sword's a lot bigger of a toy, but no, they're not. All right, so you know how much times this lamp has fallen? Like, it's cracked. Obviously, you can't see. It's cracked, but like, I'm surprised it hasn't shattered. How many things are gonna fall? But obviously, you just simply switch this on like so. Ninjark Sword! And then you get a nice light blue LED with the announcement of the sword. And basically, if you don't do anything besides pressing the trigger, you get 3 basic slashes, to which you actually get slashes. You don't activate it right away. So the first one's a light green, then you get a light, no, that was the blue, and a purple. Sorry. I really, like, I appreciate that so much, because I find it kind of annoying with the Zonglass Sword. It immediately activates and, like, pulsates while you're just slashing and such, and it's just like, I just want to slash. I don't want it to pulsate and such. But, obviously, to transfer, or to materialize Murasame, you want to spin the disc up to 4 times. So then you get the standby. Obviously, I really, like, you have to pay attention to the LEDs. Transform, press the trigger. So I really, obviously, it's nice you still carry that over. I think only Goku doesn't have that. Goku and Torval. But obviously, I think the big thing about this one is that obviously, as you can tell for the most part, the LEDs are kind of like what's the name? Not saturated, but like, they're not. The LEDs are kind of limited, but I feel like they kind of make it up by just the coordination of the LEDs and just like how much is programmed and such. Like the LEDs are like literally like programmed to follow the beat and like the guitar strings and such, which is really neat and such. It's really it's like it's I find it really cool whenever you actually spin this. I really like the build up from the blade and such, and I really do like how, again, just the sounds coordinate. Because if we were to do this again, because as you can see at the tail end, it will like be it'll be at this corner, like this point for like a second. It's just really cool, and you can actually see the colors actually build up. Yeah, so the second transformation actually is Murasame Avatar changing into whatever character or whatever Sentai suit he wants. That's still kind of a thing from the Zanglass Sword. This thing can be finicky. But yeah, cuz we don't really know the status of like Murasame's Avataro changes. We're just assuming it is rival characters, but they've only confirmed 2 of them, and we've only seen the one. So like we can't really like determine like what exactly his are, especially because Abare Killer would technically also be could also be for Dragoku and Torvald because Abare Killer is technically the 6th. So it's just kind of like, I think we're just supposed to assume it's rival characters. And before we do the last one, the slashes actually do change when you are transformed. Sorry I have to hold it like that. It's just because doing the whole one hand. I know it's a lot more cleaner to present. But again, spin this for the last two times. Again, I really like how the LEDs change out. So yeah, you get the transformation sound for the altar, for Don Murasame altar, which is really cool and such. There is one more thing we need to cover, but we're actually going to skip it because we're going to jump into the next thing, which is obviously a standard within premium items, which is phrase mode. So you just simply hold the trigger down and switch it on. So there you get Mother telling Murasame to wake up, and obviously, speaking of Mother, that's where our phrases are going to come from, Mother and Murasame. So Mother is represented by a white LED, while Murasame obviously is going to be represented by purple. I'm pretty sure that's the last one. Yeah, so there's basically about like 10 phrases and such, which I can't be too bothered, just because the two characters don't really reiterate a lot anyway. So this is good enough. Obviously, we can transform like usual. So obviously, it's basically the same thing, just now Mother and Murasame actually correspond. And then, as you are transformed, this actually allows you to actually slash now. And then, avatar change, avatar change. So obviously that's still the same, and last but not least. But yeah, obviously they're all the same, but I really do like, just the ability to have that and such. And now the last thing with Murasame is obviously the attacks and such. So obviously, unlike the Zanglass Sword where you actually need to use this, you actually hold down the button and spin it once, and then let go of the button. So then you get like the light going through the blade, which I really like overall, as it emulates a shark going through the sea and such. And I really do like that standby of like a shark coming at you and such. Very Jaws-esque. Now spin it twice and then let go. And now the two colors are going at each other. The attack is kind of the same, and you're going to be able to see that. You have to wait for the sound to play out and then spin it again. And now the three colors are going at each other. And then last but not least, up to 4 times. This one's weird because you just simply spin it 4 times. You don't press anything after that. You just let everything play out. So yeah, that's the final finisher. And obviously there is something that needs to be stated, because originally in the product page, they had audio samples of this product, of the transformation, the alter change, and the finisher. Obviously, originally the finisher phrase was "kill everybody" because it was a pun. That's like the pun name. The pun was supposed to be "kill everybody," but obviously the actual name was like a pun on was supposed to be a play on Kill Everybody, but like I think a week after they they changed it to WoW. I think because of like Kill Everybody being too like, you know, being a bit too much and such. But honestly, I kind of wish they actually kept it. Obviously, you can go find it online and such because obviously people have uploaded the sounds and such. So yeah, within sound editing, of course you're gonna put back the Kill Everybody. I kind of wish they kept it, but I get it. It's a bit too much for the kids, despite the fact kids are not gonna play with this thing. Speaking of that, we should probably look at all the other stuff with this thing. So yeah, the Ninjark Sword actually came with Avataro gears, despite the fact they weren't acknowledged on the box. So here's our first Avataro gear, Volt Shark, or Vol Shark of Sun Vulcan. So yeah, obviously, just because of the nature of these reviews, we haven't gotten to cover the original Volt Eagle yet, so not gonna go much into these ones. And he got stuck with a trans stamp. But he's B011, which makes sense because he is of Sun Vulcan. Like, these ones I don't mind them doing just because they are like really unique choices as a whole. But next up, we got Gal Blue of Gal Ranger. Just the fact these ones exist is just really amusing. B033. Obviously, these should be the same like their Sentai Gear counterparts. Sorry of how weird this is getting framed. Then I didn't bother moving the Ninjark Sword because I don't want to. And last but not least, Jewel Shark of Jewelger. B055. Actually, at this point, might as well pull this out. So, sorry. Here's Jewel Eagle. So as you can see from here, the notch pattern is the exact same. But I don't mind it, just because it makes sense for these teams. Here it makes sense, because they have the same transmission sound. So of course they're going to make the same, like, sound. And such, so it's just not, like, it's not like, you know, the 6 Senshis where it's like they clearly don't, they don't have the same sounds, and yet, like, it makes sense why. But let's demonstrate the existence. Alright, so throwing the Ninjark Sword in the back. For the sake of these two, I won't show what they do, just to keep these ones secretive, and so then the actual reviews of these two gears proper actually have a reason. So we will simply just spin it, but we won't get into all the functions. Obviously, you just scan it up here like so. Obviously, press the trigger like so. So yeah, basically instead of the Iza Maru, however that's sadly pronounced, we get the name of the Senshi. So in this case, it said Vol Shark, and it was in it was in blue, and it's the same standby like the Zangwa sword. It's now, but it's in more like a surfer instrumental, which is kind of interesting. But as you heard, I think it said he shark. Obviously, they're going with a lot of shark puns here. And then Gao Blue. So there it said Gao Blue. And I like it now, it's Ura Avataro Zan, which is pretty neat. Because I can't remember what the Dawn Blaster said, or like what the Zangwa Sword was. Last but not least, Jewel Shark, which I will show this one. So there makes a lot of sense, because Jewel Shark obviously is part of the Jewelers and such. Which will obviously make it when we were to do the Zangwa Sword finisher. So obviously, if you don't, obviously you never saw it because it was only in the demo. So this one does the Jewel Slash and such. So what would the Ninjark Sword do? Yeah, nothing special, sadly. And no, I'm not gonna show Omikoshi Phoenix just because it's the exact same thing like Jewel Eagle, and plus showing these two would be spoilish. I think, like, obviously, these are going to be the same connotations of, okay, it's going to be Jewel Shark in the Goldon armor. However, we actually do have a unique entry here, which is Stay Caesar. So if we were to use his Sentai gear, and then use the Ninjark Sword, so it says Stay Caesar, and it's in purple. Oh. Sorry. So yeah, it actually does recognize Stay Caesar. Interestingly. Which kind of makes me kind of feel like we should have just gotten his Avataro gear then? It's such a weird choice. But if we were to use, like, you know, a more logical, like, character, so, like, for example, if we were to use Russo Red, because, you know, we could be like, well, we can technically get Geistorg in here, right? Huh? What is that? A white LED? So yeah, basically for any other team that's not Sun Vulcan, Gal Ranger, or Zyuohger, you get clap your hands, everybody, which I don't even mind at all. Like, it does kind of suck that we can't even get, like, a color, but man, I like the way he announces clap your hands. It's just so enticing. But obviously with that, we have to look into the Donbrothers. So obviously the main user, Inu brother. So this is like a green LED. Yeah, it just says Donbrothers, but I mean, at least Donbrothers gets a sound. But again, the green LEDs are really interesting choice. And you have to keep in mind, this does apply to Jirogoku and Torvald too. And then, last but not least, if we were to use the Avataro Kiwami gear, I know I did it too early, but I just really like the timing of this one a lot. But yeah, this one functions the same. It's just that everything is just genericized to clap your hands and such. Because we will jump into the Tiger Dora. Because this is honestly where I'm actually kind of the most upset at. So, if we were to do Jirogoku, you have to press this one faster for timing. Yeah, they didn't even bother giving the Ninjark Sword a unique standby for the Tiger Dora, so we no longer get Zan 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 Zan. It's still Avataro Zan, which is just very disappointing. But here I will show the altar. We will do Q Ranger altar. I don't think this is a good example, actually, because of course this one will just say clap your hands. But we will do a Rotaro gear. Yeah. Fine. I mean, like, that basically just shows off what this was gonna do anyway. But yeah, I think that is basically the rundown of the Ninjark Sword. To which, overall, I guess I kind of expected too much out of it. Because I think as a standalone product, it is what you expect out of it, but it is definitely a lot more than the Zonglass Sword. Because obviously the Zonglass Sword only had like the 3 finishers, but that was still at least good enough. This one has 4 finishers and 3 transformations, and then plus an additional 3 transformations with the phrase mode on. And the thing too is that like the scanning of the gears does not matter in either mode and such. And speaking of that, this is something weird I discovered yesterday. So if you were to transform then press the trigger and scan, the sounds start overlapping. It's not until you complete the finisher it'll cancel. I found that to be really interesting. So, I don't know if that was a programming mistake or just something they thought would be neat to add, but I appreciate it. But yeah, so like I think as a standalone product, the Ninjark Sword definitely does a little bit more than the Zonglass Sword. And obviously, I think I do like what I was kind of saying before, I do like what the 2 products do with the LEDs and such. This one really does like elevate like the LEDs actually following with the sounds and such, which I do appreciate. What I'm really disappointed about though is its compatibility with all the devices and such, because it's just very minuscule and just doesn't really add a lot and such, which really sucks. Because even the Rukono Geki does a lot more than this thing, because at least the Rukono Geki can at least differentiate an Avataro gear and a Robotaro gear. It can't, like, obviously none of them differentiate them between alters, but like the Zonglass Sword and the Rukono Geki can at least differentiate, okay, this is a Avataro slash alter gear and this is a Robotaro gear. This thing does not care. It's basically, okay, you're Sun Vulcan, you're Gal Ranger, you're Zyuohger, you're Stay Caesar, or you're a Dawn Brother. If you're none of those, clap your hands. Which is, or did I say Stay Caesar? I don't remember. But that's kind of disappointing, especially because there is a Black Oni Taijin sound that is the instrumental of the finisher standby, but we don't have a way of activating that. I have tried to hold down the Ninjark Sword on the Dawn Blaster on a Robotaro gear. That doesn't do anything because the Dawn Robotaro gear doesn't do anything with this thing, even though you would think it would, because that's the campaign item with Black Oni Taijin. But it just sadly falls on its readability with gears. And, like, I would have liked if this thing actually did still retain a 7 LED. I think it probably does have a 7 LED. It just can't, it's just not programmed to emit, like, red or yellow and, like, pink and such, because it's only programmed to emit, like, white, blue, green, and purple and such. But, like, I mean, even with that, like, I'm not as bothered with, like, the amount of LEDs, just because of, like, how it correlates with the sounds. I just would have liked if like there were more smaller hints of Easter eggs. Like if I were to use Rue Soldier, it's a guy sword, and like you know, Magi Ranger would have been like Wool's art and such. But like we don't have that. Like I would have liked if they went full on with making these gears, say the rivals. But I get it. They probably it's probably like that because they wanted the specific gears of those characters and such, which is why they added Stay Caesar and such. But like even like certain characters, like Ghostly Blue for example, he's not even included. So it's just like you include 3 of the 4 Shark Rangers. Like, and the thing is that obviously, like, I think the reason why it's these 3 and the eliminated Ghostly Blue was because these 3 are specifically from anniversary seasons and such, which makes sense. But like, Ghostly Blue's a shark. Come on, like you could have at least included one more sound. But like, I don't know. Like, obviously, if you're a big fan of Murasame and such, or you're just a big fan of the Ninjark Sword, I would say go ahead with it. The gears aren't necessary. And this just sadly doesn't add much to, you know, your gears or your Dawn Blaster or Tiger Dora. Obviously, you only have that thing, and don't have the Dawn Blaster for some reason. I guess you'll be happy about the fact it doesn't do a separate standby and such, but again, I feel like that's another thing that really hurts this thing. I'm just kind of disappointed with this as a whole. Which is why, like, just try to get it for, like, a really cheap price and such, because I don't think getting this thing in full is worth it. Especially if you're, like, really enthusiastic about, like, functionality within the Donbrothers toy line and such. Can't believe this is the last DX item. Wow. Now I have to do this review. I can finally clean up now.